Hi, my name is Katie Deutsch. If you are my student, you probably know me as Ms. Deutsch or Ms. D. Well, parents, families, and friends and students of my geometry class, welcome. This is the mission of our class. All students will earn a good or excellent on the EOC so that every career path is open to them without remediation. This is important for our children for 3 reasons. The first is that many of them want careers that require upper-level math courses, and geometry builds a foundation for success in those upper-level classes. Especially if our students want to apply to college, they need to show a history of academic success, but also they want to show that to themselves and to their friends and to their families. All of our students want to earn a high school diploma, and the successful completion of the EOC in geometry is required. How are our students going to get here? Well, they are going to ask a lot of questions, and they are going to be curious. They are going to want to learn just for the sake of gaining knowledge. We're going to call that curiosity. They are going to look to each other for the questions and the answers, not just always relying on the teacher. They're going to push each other and look in their notes and ask these questions and then see if they can answer them themselves. We're going to call that resourcefulness. And when it gets tough and there are difficult problems ahead of them, they're not going to give up. Never. They're going to push through. They're going to accept the challenge and strive and overcome it. We're going to call that value perseverance. And lastly, why are they going to do this? For their own good. Because our students will understand that education is to help them, to move them to the next level, to help keep these career paths open for them. And so that's why they're going to care. And they're going to take ownership over their education. So through these values, we are going to accomplish this mission. In class, of course, there has to be policies and procedures to make sure that we are on track towards getting that mission every day. And these are my classroom rules. Our students are going to follow directions the first time that they're given in my class. There's going to be one speaker at a time, whether that speaker is me or one of the students. We are going to use appropriate technology use, which means not too much of this until it is required for class. We are going to only use positive and encouraging language, and we're going to follow appropriate behaviors for classroom procedures. These are the 5 rules that are going to be true every day in my classroom for every moment. If students choose not to follow these rules, there will be consequences. The first consequence on the consequence ladder here is a verbal warning. Every student will get a warning before it proceeds to another consequence. The second one is a behavioral action plan. This is a time for the student to reflect and to communicate with me about why they are on their cell phone or talking when they're supposed to be doing work silently, or they didn't get started on their do now. Whatever it is, their behavioral action plan, that's a time for the student to communicate with me what's holding them back. They're also going to lose 2 participation points at that point in the ladder. The third step is a phone call home, and this is also going to lose 3 participation points for that day. The phone call home is really a time for me to touch base with the prominent adult in the student's life to make sure that they are aware of the actions that the student has taken in class. Specifically, we will most likely discuss what the student wrote in the behavioral action plan. And the 4th step, which I hope we never have to get to, is a referral to discipline. And this is a subtraction of 5 class points, which in total, 10 when they walk through, will have lost them all for that entire day. One note, and this is different from a lot of other teachers at Algiers Technology Academy, but my consequences, these do restart daily. So every day they get their 1 warning, and then it moves quickly through. Hopefully not that quickly. So they do reset daily. So if you got to the phone call home and I called your parent, had a lovely conversation, the next day you come in and you're back at 0. And the first time I have to speak to you, maybe you didn't follow directions the first time, you're at now a behavioral action plan. So points are detracted from the daily classwork grade. And a way to receive 5 very easy points towards that grade is by turning in your cell phone when you walk through the class. So parents, I highly encourage you to tell your students that this would be a really great idea. Because then even if they are losing some of the points down here, they're still able, it's not going to impact their grade that much. There are a lot of opportunities in this class. Opportunities to make up extra credit. As I mentioned, they can turn in their cell phones at the beginning of class. That's an easy way to get 5 extra points. Another one is through using Khan Academy. Khan Academy is a website where there are videos, like this one, about instructional material. It has all of geometry as well as most other math classes up through calculus, and art history and economics, everything. And through Khan Academy, your student can have a login that is through me so that I can monitor their progress. And this is great because I can see what exactly they're spending their time doing and where they need help. And I can even recommend specific exercises and videos for them to watch based on how they're performing in class. So if I know that one of my students needs help with segments or rays, distinguishing between those two, I can go to Khan Academy and recommend that video for them to watch, and then I can see how they do on the exercise afterwards. There's also an opportunity to make up work. If students miss school and have an excused absence, they can make up any of the work for full credit as long as it's turned in within a week of returning back to school. Opportunities for extra help. I have a lot of questions about when I'm available for tutoring, and the short answer is always. I can meet with students during academic enrichment, which is homeroom at the beginning of the day. I can meet during lunch. Every day I will be in my class, and I can write a pass so that they can cut the front of the line, quickly eat their food, or even bring it to my class, and then we can have a good 20 to 30 minutes of tutoring. I can also meet after school. The only exception to that is Wednesdays and Fridays, because Wednesdays teachers don't have the half day that students do. And also on the weekends. Usually I meet at PJ's Coffee on General de Gaulle on the West Bank. But of course, if students on the East Bank want to meet and no students from the West Bank do, I'm happy to meet on the East Bank as well. So where and when for the weekends really just depends on the schedules of my schedule and those of the students that I want to meet with. There are also opportunities to retake assessments. So as long as you put in a full effort on your first try of taking the assessment, you can retake that assessment as many times as you want until you are satisfied with your performance. The first time you retake it has to be within a week of the assessment being given. And then after that, every time you want to retake it has to be within a week of the last time you took it. So I don't want, on the last day of the semester, you taking quiz 1. And there are also opportunities to monitor progress. Every week, there will be a weekly progress report given to the students on Friday that they are required to bring home and have signed by a parent or guardian, just so that there's no secrets about how the student is doing in the class. That's weekly. There's also an assessment tracker, which tracks the weekly Friday assessments as well as the unit assessments, and that's done through stickers based on EOC scoring. And then there's a daily objective tracker. And what that means is that every day the student is writing down the objective for that day, how confident they are, and how much effort they're going to put into that lesson before it begins, and then how much effort they actually put into the lesson, and how confident they are afterwards, as well as their exit ticket score. So this way, if they didn't do too well on one of the Friday quizzes, and they're not sure why, they can look back at that week's objectives and say, okay, it's definitely this week. Thank you so much, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel, which you're at right now, and make sure you follow all of the videos. I look forward to a great semester. Thank you.